Tankery is a dying game, but it doesn't have to be. Despite how it looks at first, Tankery is a hidden gem. Once you get used to the quirks, it becomes one of the more fun tank games on Roblox, especially if you know what you're doing, since most dumbasses who play this game are children who rush without thinking or people who just brawl and think being a support tank sucks. Tankery is a team-based tank game with 6 tiers of tanks, split into 3 matchmaking brackets. Low tier is tiers 1 and 2. Mid tier is tiers 3 and 4. Top tier is tiers 5 and 6. And for the love of god, if you are a new tier 1 player, click servers and go to low tier. Mid tier barely sees activity, but when it does, it's chaotic fun. You can use late World War II and early Cold War tanks. Top tier is surprisingly balanced. With skill, tier 5 tanks can take on tier 6 tanks through smart positioning and tactics and not being a fucking dumbass. I've killed T62 and M48 F5 patterns using the T10, T34 heavy, and Lorraine 40T, but in this video, we're focusing on where it all begins. Welcome to low tier. The most basic, yet arguably the hardest part of Tankery. Armor is barely reliable here. Firepower is limited. But don't let that fool you. A smart low tier player can wreak havoc and seal club the shit out of low tier. Here's what you need to know. Section 1. Tier 1 tanks. Rats of the battlefield. Tier 1 tanks are the hardest to play and the easiest to kill. But in the right hands, they're super annoying. They're small and fast. Weakly armor. Quick firing with low damage. Recommended tier 1 tanks are Panzer 3F, which is balanced and beginner friendly. Crusader Mark II, which is a speed demon. And M5 Stuart, which is nimble with a fast reload. However, you can pick any damn tank you like, it is your choice, and all tanks are good when played correctly. How to play tier 1 effectively. Flank, support, and vanish. Don't take fights head on. Hide in cover, relocate after every shot, and use your small size to your advantage. Shoot high value targets like flankers, long guns, or tanks about to kill your teammates. Use teammates as distractions. Make sure all enemy attention is away from you. Always check your surroundings while moving, especially in choke points. Got caught in a head-on fight? Shoot while moving and retreat immediately. Keep as much cover between you and your enemy as possible. And please, don't ram or flip your teammates. And if you do, unflip them. Your job isn't to carry. It's to disrupt, annoy, and assist. Play like a rat. Section 2. Tier 2 tanks. The real low tier power. Tier 2 is where the game starts to open up. You get real armor, better guns, and more iconic tanks. Recommended tier 2s include T34. Balanced tank with garbage reverse speed and turret traverse but good armor and speed. KV-1. Slow but a decent brawler if angled and side armor is hidden. M4 Sherman. All round a great support, especially at medium distance and on maps with cover. M10 Wolverine. Glass cannon with decent mobility and a better reverse speed than the Sherman but horrid turret traverse. Stug 3. Great firepower and armor with decent mobility, but it suffers when flanked due to a lack of turret. Panzer 4C, good for close range support and has awesome reverse speed, allowing it to retreat after firing, and the reload is fast to shoot anyone who tries to go after you behind cover. Kaino. Penetration powerhouse and by far the best for dealing with armored targets and sniping. Cromwell. Which is a fast flanker menace that is really good if you don't head on like a fucking moron. Each tank plays differently. Before picking one, understand its role. Not all tanks are built for brawling. The premium Lux with 30mm guns is fucking unbalanced nightmare. It has high penetration and one of the highest damage per minute in the game. I think it should be buffed and moved to tier 3. The Hatza should also have its reload speed and health nerfed because most tanks that cannot pen it will get absolutely destroyed from the front, which happens to be most engagements. Section 3. Know your role. Tanks fall into categories. Flankers are fast and mobile. Examples are Cromwell, Crusader, and anything fast. Snipers sit back and hit hard while staying hidden. Examples are M10, Stug, Panzer 3K, and Kainu. Brawlers take hits and fight up close. Example, KV1. Support tanks back up the team by firing from cover and shooting high threat enemies. The Sherman is a good example. Balanced tanks are adaptable, like the T-34. Some tanks can play more than one role well. Adapt to the situation. And remember, even the best tank is useless if misused, like a Hatza balling like a fucking moron, which I see at it. Every tank is good when used correctly. Section 4. Armor. The trap you'll fall for. Never rely on armor, even in tanks like the KV-1 or Churchill. Why? Every tank has a counter. Even a heavy tank can be shredded by something like the Kainu or Crusader SPG. Armor is usually listed as hull, turret, and manlet, in millimeters. Some tanks have weak hulls but strong turrets. For these, use hull down positions. That means hide the hull behind a hill or obstacle and only expose your turret. After firing, reverse. If you have bad reverse speed, turn around and run or move to another position in front of you. Other tanks have strong hulls. For these, use side scraping. Peek around corners with your upper front plate angled to about 65 degrees and your side armor hidden. This makes shots bounce. If the enemy falls for it and misses, return fire and retreat to reload. Side and rear armor is the weakest part of every tank. Always aim there if you can. Bait shots. Fire when they miss. Never sit out in the open. Use obstacles or cover to make yourself harder to hit. Section 5. Damage and penetration system explained. Tankery uses a semi-random damage system. That means sometimes your shot hits for 140. Other times it hits for 90. That's normal. If your shell penetrates, you deal full damage. If it doesn't penetrate, you might still deal small damage, which is minor damage from fragments. If your shot bounces, it does no damage. Health systems. In deathmatch mode, it's a standard HP style system like in World of Tanks. In Last Stand or King of the Hill, it's a more realistic health system. The formula is 75 times the tank tier, plus the upper front plate thickness. This system favors higher tier tanks and tanks with stronger hulls, which also means tanks made for hull down have lower health, which is sad for hull down players. Be aware of that when picking your tank. If your tank suffers in a certain map, try experimenting and switching tanks. Don't stick to one tank all the time. Section 6. Final tips and community message. Before buying a tank, check the official Tankery wiki. Watch gameplay footage. Learn your tank's strengths and weaknesses. If you know your tank's weakness, avoid exposing it. Maximize your tank's advantages. Every tank is strong when used right. Tankery doesn't get updates anymore. Greg, the developer, has moved on. But the game still has potential, and the community can revive it. If you love tanks, tactics, and outplaying your enemies through positioning and teamwork, Tankery is worth it. It just needs players like you. Pick your tank. Learn your role. Play smart. And let's bring Tankery back to life.